Welcome to this module where we are going to start formatting this document. Remember, formatting means changing the appearance of the document as opposed to editing, which is changing the contents of the document. So we are going to change the appearance so that it looks the same as the template that we are copying. So the first thing we realize is that the name on top is in one big cell that comes from B until E. So what we have done here is to combine or to merge these cells. So the first thing we will do is to merge cells B to E. So we go to our worksheet. You put your cursor in B2 and hold down the shift key, then press the right arrow key until you get to E. So this is the first method for highlighting. So with the shift key pressed down, you can use arrow keys in any direction and you can highlight any block of information. So the arrow keys, they determine the extent to which the highlight will go. The other way you can highlight is by simply clicking with your mouse in B and then you drag while you are holding it down until you get to E. That is method number 2. Then the next thing we're going to do is to merge the cells. So we are going to use a shortcut menu by right-clicking inside the highlight. So when you right-click, you get this shortcut menu. It is shortcut because all these options are available in the ribbon on top. But this one is much faster to obtain because you simply right-click and you get most of the options that you frequently use. So we look for format cells. And then it will open a dialog for formatting the cells. And this dialog has got a number of tabs. The first one says number. So this is the one that you use for formatting numbers. If the contents of the cell is a number, you want to tell the computer whether that number is an ordinary number, whether it's money, a currency, whether it's an accounting figure, date, time, percentage, fraction, etc. Then the next one is the one we need now for alignment. So on the alignment, we are going to start by using this one that says merge cells. Later on, we'll be coming back to put borders on our cells. But for now, let's just merge cells and say OK. So this same menu for formatting cells, you can also get it by going to the Home tab and then on the Cells group, you click on the arrow next to Format and then you will get the format cells. So this is the long route through the ribbon. So we've now merged these cells and now we can align the text in the big cell. So we go to the Home tab, we look for Alignment and then you look for Center and click on Center. You can also get the alignment on the shortcut menu by right-clicking and you can see immediately the font group comes up there and there is the alignment. So we do the same for the personal monthly income and expenditure. We highlight, we right-click, format cells, go to alignment, then merge cells, and we say Okay. And these two are now centered in the merged cells. Let us now see the other formatting that is on these two headings. We can see that the name is in white and it has got a navy background. So we go back and we highlight the name. We change the background first using the fill color, and then we look for this dark blue color, and then we change the font color to white, and then we increase the size of the font to 16. We check again on sheet 1 and we see that the next heading has got a beige kind of background. It's black in color and it has got a black border on it. So we go back here, we change the fill color to that beige like color. Then we go to format cells, right click and format cells. We go to border. So on the border you can choose different styles from dotted, dashes, thick lines and double lines. So we'll use the normal line. And then the color, you can also change the color of the line, but automatic will put a black line. None makes sure there is no border on all sides. Outline puts a border outside the selection that you have made. So if we had selected a whole block like that, it will put a line only on the outline. If you want lines inside, you then click here where it says inside. But our selection does not have any lines inside. So we just leave the outline and click OK. So now we have finished formatting these two. And then we can see that the month label and the year label have got the same color. Month name and year number have got the same color. So we can select these two at the same time, but for you to select items that are not next to each other, you click on the first one, then you hold down the control key on the keyboard, not the shift key, because if you hold down shift and you click here, it highlights everything starting from here to there. But if you only want to pick selectively, you hold down the control key and you click inside the year. Then the month and the year will be highlighted. Then we look for a color for the month and the year. Then we do the same on January and 2021. Press down the control key and we select a color. So now we have finished formatting this third line. Let's now check what we need to format next. You can see that the balance brought forward and balance carried forward have got the same background color. So what we can do is highlight these two and then you hold down the control key and highlight the balance carried forward together with the cell that is going to carry the number, and then we look for a suitable color for these two. And then what we also want to do is on the figure for balance brought forward and balance carried forward, we want to put a border. So you click on the balance brought forward, hold down Control and click on the value for balance carried forward. You point inside any one of the highlighted cells, you right click and then you say Format Cells, then you go to Border and put an outline and say OK. Next, we want to put a black background on income up to where the values are. Same thing with expenditure. We want to put something like a dark slate gray. So we come here, put your cursor in income, highlight, go to the right, go to fill color, select black, and then you go to the font and you select the white color. So because the last time we came here we used a white color, it is the one that is already there, so we don't have to go to the list again. So we simply click on the letter A and we get the white color. Same thing here on the expenditure, we highlight and we go to the fill and look for that color that looks like a dark slate gray, and we select it and also go to the font and make it white. Okay, let's see the formatting for our totals. We have got this bluish color on the total income and a red color on the total expenses. So we got total income on the font color. So the font color is the one that we need to change. And we got total expenditure, highlight and make font color red. And then next, we would like to put the borders on the data for income and expenditure. So I've taught you the shortcut of highlighting, and then you hold down the Control key and highlight the next block. So whatever you want to do to more than one cell or more than one blocks of selection, you simply use the Control key to select those different cells or blocks. So we now right click and select Format Cells. We go to Border. This time we need the outline as well as the inside, because we now have lines crossing vertically and horizontally inside the selection. And we say OK. So now we have actually finished formatting this document, and it's now looking almost exactly like the template. So the only thing that we can do is probably stretch our C column so that our document can fit nicely on an A4 paper when we print it. I'm now going to show you one last function that is to do with formatting, and this is also on the alignment of fields. Let's say, for example, you have got a column which is narrow, but the column heading is very long. Let's just create a simple column here. For an example, I'll say the column heading is total amount. But the amounts that we are dealing with are small figures like 100, 300, 1000, and so forth. So it would be a waste of space to have this column to be so wide, and at times you have got many of them, so you want to fit them in a smaller space. So if you reduce the width of this column and you make it like that, you can see that the word is spilling to the next column. So there's a way that we can fix this by right-clicking, and we go to Format Cells. Then on Alignment, so far we have used Merge Cells, but there are two functions that we can use: Shrink to Fit and Wrap Text. So if you click on Shrink to Fit, it is going to change the size of this font so that it fits. So as you can see, the total amount is now fitting in the space that is given. But this small font is actually too small. You do not want the title to be smaller than the figures. So what we do is we change and we use the other option. So I undo, then right click, go back to Format Cells. Instead of Shrink to Fit, I select Wrap Text. So when you are wrapping the text, it means if it is too long, you fold it and the next word appears on the next line, so to speak. So what it has done is to increase the row height. So even all the other items on the left, their row height has also been increased. So instead of having total amount in one line, the total amount is now in 2 lines. We have wrapped the text around or folded it. So you can align that text center or right, depending on the way that you'd like your data to appear. So those are the two options. Either you shrink the text so that it fits inside the narrow column, or you wrap it around so that if it reaches the end of the column, the next word appears on the next line. So this is how you manage to type in even long sentences into a single cell. So if I come here and I say this here is a good year because we expect a bumper harvest. So before I wrap it, this line is exceeding and going to the other cells. But if I then go to Format Cells and I wrap it, you can see that it is now being contained in one cell, and it simply readjusts the row height. So that is the last feature that I just wanted to show you before I close this lesson on formatting the worksheet. Always remember to save your document so that you don't lose any information should anything happen to your computer. So when we come back in the next module, we are now going to talk about data types, so that from there we now discuss the issue of the formulas to calculate the totals on the income, the expenditure, as well as the balance carried forward. So I will see you in the next module.